Well, I'm in a zone. I don't know if I'm in control. I'm afloat, and I'm glad to be floating. Forget control. There is no control. Well, I live and work in the same space. I always have. And it changes the dynamic of going to the studio since I'm already there. I'm always surrounded by my work and my books and my windows. And when I turn directly to my work, that's instigated by many things, including the natural light, the gift of my windows, the seasonal light, of course, and the way it only appears on my studio walls during the time of the summer solstice, which I've talked about with you before, and which the gallery notes refer to. And much of the work in the gallery is generated that way. But of course, there are other less direct lighting situations that are also at play. And obviously, the sun is not always shining or setting. And in works like Itself and Nothing Else, they were made on a cloudy day when I still was in a working condition during the time of the summer solstice when I was moved to shape a mountain like form out of paper and place it on a shelf that sat on the wall and in front of an older landscape image of mine. And that same landscape is also the one in Rolling Hills, another Rolling Hills 1 and 2, two other images that are in the gallery. And it nods to the fact that revisiting older images is part of what I'm likely to do. And also, shelf life came about similarly on another cloudy day. So I've just, thinking about the windows and the light and the summer solstice, and then there's everything else that um, comes along anyway. For a long time, when I discovered that photography was for me, it was after one evening photography class that was given because I had a student teacher sent to me and I had a free class offered to me in exchange. And I didn't even expect to like it. My experience with printmaking, I felt very impatient and I was afraid it would be the same thing with photography. But it clicked in a way that totally surprised me. And I wound up photographing pieces of paintings and had a dark room built in my bedroom, and I never made a painting since. I mean, I had a way of working where I used the dark room almost like a copy machine. I would make images, wash them in the bathtub, dry them with my hair dryer, come out, cut things up, collage them with other images. If they were the wrong size, I'd run back in and make a bigger one. I mean, it's a little crazy, but very energizing. And that's how work developed in the beginning. And some point over time, that was a long time ago, the computer was like waiting for me. And I was trying to ignore it. Um, uh, I had a student come and show me specific things that I wanted to be able to do, and that's how I learned how to work with Photoshop, which really is the language of painting and photography kind of slipped into each other, and I quickly was comfortable with it. But I missed the accidents that happened with the hands-on analog way of working. There were certain accidents with an image cut out that would fall on top of another image on my table, and I would see something unexpected and it would take me in another direction. And I had to learn what the computer um, accidents were. because I liked that, the unintentional happenings as well. And of course I did over time. So then I was happy to be there. And now it's one of my main residences. It's where I live. I was driving along a narrow countryside road with trees on both sides. I remember this so specifically. And the sun was going down on my left. There's that setting sun again. And it made the trees on my left cast their shadow across the road, across myself, and onto the trees on the right. And I felt so enlivened. And I'm moving in the car, like through this shadow that's happening and passing, and just felt so part of a passing moment. I was very aware that the moment was changing quickly. And I couldn't wait to get back to the studio and imagine how I might keep thinking about that feeling. And I made a work from that wanted to be some kind of equivalent of the experience. And it's not part of this exhibition. It's a work called A Planet's Encouragement, which was directly related to how I felt. And the phrase is actually from a Wallace Stevens poem that I happen to like very much, favorite poet of mine. So I mean that kind of like being open to that kind of feeling, and I think it's very at the bottom of what I'm doing. At this point in time, I recognize certain things that maybe I didn't recognize earlier on. And one of them is that much of the ongoing evolution of several long held ideas that are in the work seem to come from the work itself. So it's like the work begets work. And they're ideas that have to do with deep connection to the natural world and the desire to keep it close one way or another. While, of course, other factors feed into it. Um, it is true for anyone who's just there for it. It's true. It's not unique to me, obviously. I mean, it's something I talk to students about. And even being in the studio when you're not sure why you're there or if you ever should be there again, or all of the questions a student might have. Um, there's something about being there that is its own generating a presence, and does wonders for you. So it makes sense to be there with your questions. Um, since I mean, I was thinking about the bird images, which are have a place in this exhibition, and I've been a bit of a birder for many years and have only occasionally let the trace of birds into my work. But when a friend gave me the book called The Third Bird, which I've also referred to before, it had immediate resonance with my ongoing attachment to the wonder of birds and its long historical story of the third bird. It also spoke to the qualities of attention and presence that I value. I mean, that are underneath what I would call ideas, and that I'm hoping the work will evoke. And that all with a third bird and that text and that all of that material, it seemed to confirm a lot of things that I already felt and knew. And a lot of new work came from it. So it was a really great gift. There are underlying values, I think, that I've already mentioned, like presence and attention, and I don't have to call on them in a premeditated kind of way, but at this point, they seem to come along, and the landscape, the natural world, and what it means to um, represent or represent it I wonder about these things. So um, that's sort of, the land of my attention or image making that I'm inhabiting at the moment.